Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, welcome in. How you doing today, ABB?
I am doing well. I'm both, I guess I'll be honest, a little nervous and excited for this episode. It's all out there. All the good, bad, and ugly is out there for everyone to see. But in the true spirit of in the bag from the beginning, I hope it helps people that maybe throw like me or have the same issues that I do when throwing. So
absolutely,
hopefully we can grow together. But I'm excited. I mean, we took some time and cleaned up the warehouse yesterday, but it has been exploding with discs we got some Black Friday stuff in. We've got some new stuff to drop this week. We've got cool new stuff for first drops at USDGC and Tour Championship. It's been crazy. So our back walls beyond our back shelves, they're usually like packing supplies, right? Like there's big shelves in the back, Robbie. And we actually moved the packing supplies elsewhere because we have a full one of those big, huge black shelves full of mystery box discs, and then we have a second one for Black Friday drops, not discs for mystery boxes. So over there with like the Atlas wall kind of is. So yeah, it's wild in here right now. And hey, I want to shout out, if you are not a Patreon person, again, number one, we have a free trial. You can actually, there's a link in the description every week you can look at to go check in on Foundation's Patreon. And Jason's been doing an awesome job, like highlighting what's coming in, stuff that he can show. He's showing. He may even give you a little sneak peek of stuff maybe he not necessarily supposed to show you, but he gives you that access. And also, we've been putting out new videos too. So we told Robbie. I think we told you. Or did Jason tell you about we're starting Course Conquest Warehouse guys? Conquest.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
First episode banger.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good one. So we're following the same kind of courses that the guys are. Again, obviously editing the lines a little bit. The shorter courses are gonna the line's gonna be less edited than like when we get out to like Falling Creek and like New London and all that stuff. So exciting. So now's a good time for Patreon because you're gonna get sneak peeks to all the new stuff coming out. We're gonna do content probably at USDGC. I'm volunteering Jason for that, but I'm sure he's gonna be doing that anyway. And we're going out to film another the second episode of Course Conquest for us today. So just want to shout that out. And if you all want some extra content from the Warehouse Boys, then Patreon Hyzer Club is. Oh, and this is not public information yet. Just approved all the new Hyzer Club designs. So there's going to be some new Hyzer Club designs popping up in the next couple weeks. So great time to join Hyzer Club is all I'm trying to say.
Come on. Yeah, we elephant in the room for our audio listeners is that my audio sounds quite a bit different than before because I'm on a different mic setup because today we are doing form review. We are going to give ABB really what this is going to look like is if you've ever wondered what does a digital lesson from Robbie C look like. I know that they've been offering these for a year now. What does it look like? What do we do? We wanted to give you the full preview of kind of how it goes. So I have my cameras set up that I have normally set up for lessons. So you're going to want to head over to YouTube and look up In the Bag Podcast. Find our channel. If you haven't, hit that subscribe. We would love and appreciate your support over there and all of that. But yeah, so this is going to be a highly visual episode, but we're going to be talking about some stuff. So if you still want to just stay podcast only,
that's fine.
Fire away. It'll still be there. But it is certainly one that that's why the audio sounds different. Is because normally my mic on my tripod, the first couple of times, I do this in my Patreon over at the Birdie Fam. And I do this every month. And the first couple of times, I would be on my little tripod trying to showcase something with form while also trying to keep my head close to the mic for good audio. And we just learned it's going to be better to have slightly worse audio and allow me to be mobile. So
we'll have two cams, right? So Robbie's going to be a normal one. That he's also going to be showing like video of me throwing as well as him and another cam demonstrating things too. So to highlight your point, there's still value for you if you're only an audio person. There's still going to be value. You're still going to be able to hear us talk through form. We'll do our best to verbally describe what's happening visually. But best bet is to jump over to YouTube and check this out. Again, just a little highlight. Robbie does this stuff all the time. If you want to be a Birdie fan member or sign up for the lessons, again, all those links are in our description every week. Make sure you check them out.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before a lesson ever happens with me, I always tell people that to send me footage, and the footage that I have them send me is shots from the side, where you are facing the camera and you're sort of throwing. I would call it a profile view. Probably feels like I don't know, Brad. Would you say?
Yeah,
Is
side
that like an
profile.
accurate
Side
description?
profile.
Yeah. And then rear. So you're throwing away from the camera, but it's directly behind you. And the biggest two things that I ask for when they're recording these videos is don't follow the shot. Like a lot of people will have them video the throw and then they have that side profile, and then the person videoing just follows them to see the shot go out into the field. Problem with that is that it messes with the angles of the throw. So I don't really care where the throw goes because I'm going to be able to figure that out on the side profile, especially. So I just tell whoever's filming, act like a tripod. I talked to Jason while y'all were driving to the course to film these, and I was like, you're just a glorified tripod, my man. So stand still, hold the video. And then the other thing is that I tell people record at normal speed because the coaching software that I use, I can slow it down. And so often, and this is something that's going to come up in Brad's, is pacing actually matters.
Yeah.
For most people who play disc golf, you're probably moving too fast for your throw to really shine, and it's going to create some issues elsewhere. Like I said, spoiler alert, that's definitely a topic that we're going to talk about today. But that pacing can really mess with it. And if I can't see you at normal speed, I kind of have to extrapolate.
Right.
This is what's occurring. So Brad sent me 4 throws from the side, 4 throws from the back. That's very helpful. And even if you just send me one of each, that's fine. Sometimes one of each doesn't really happen, and I'll go ahead and we'll dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with Brad because one of the biggest things that I noticed on is his first throw. We were talking about it off air. His first throw, something popped up, and I was like, "Oh no, that's bad." But it somewhat resolved itself on the next 2 throws, so that felt really good. So,
can I give a background? So I did go out. Yeah. We went out to that hole. I took my whole bag, and I literally was like, Jason, I'm going to throw 3 like gentle putter shots so I don't destroy my shoulder. So I threw 3 envies at like 50% power, and then we started throwing. So that some of that correction might have been like, oh, I remember how to throw. That was not right.
Yeah, warming up in time. Yeah, and that's definitely something that if you do not record yourself regularly, the first few times you throw, you're going to try to subconsciously throw correct. And so you're just not going to throw how you actually throw because the camera's recording and you're in the case of ABB here, he's like, oh, thousands of people are going to watch me throw. And like the whole reason that these thousands of people are watching is to find out what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure on a throw where you're like, I'd really like to throw correctly here. But then I chuckle because literally a comment that came in this morning on my YouTube channel was, how does this guy teach lessons of someone watching my throw? Yeah. So it happens. It doesn't matter who you are. People's always got questions. So pocket collapse is going to be one of the main things we talk about here. So Brad, you can see as we come through this arm position they were in. So Brad's head is basically as far forward as I want his head to get forward during the throw before the disc really comes out as he's throwing in this first shot. And so his head is looking to about 10 o'clock. And when we talk about 10 o'clock, we're saying that if you were to be looking over top of a person, and 12 o'clock is straight ahead of them, 10 o'clock that's what we're talking about, 10 o'clock. So his head's looking to 10 o'clock, and you can see by your body position, Brad, that your arm is just not anywhere close to being ready to throw at this point. It is definitely trapped behind you. You have this like bent arm. This is the Paul Macbeth position. Like, this is 100% people, when they talk about creating lag. We had an episode 2 or 3 episodes ago that someone asked, like, oh, should I create lag in the disc golf throw? This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to create this position. The problem is that there is a small portion of the disc golf population that can get from this position that you're in into a powerful position where we're going to have the elbow being bent and in while my head is still at this spot. That's the thing is that some people they'll check and they'll say, oh, I have like a really strong power pocket. It has happened. I'm doing the right thing. The problem is, when does that power pocket form? Does it form at the beginning of the throw? Does it form at the end of the throw? Does it form when the disc should already be being thrown? Which is the case for most people, is that, like, by the time my arm, like, I've come all the way through, oh, okay, cool. My arm is in a power pocket position, but I'm fully rotated facing forward. Okay, well, at that point, the power pocket doesn't really matter because I'm already through the throw. So I'm just not really extending, doing anything. So over rotating is going to be one of our biggest issues here. But I wanted to start and point this out because this is why I appreciate multiple throws. Because if we simply go to the next throw that Brad sent, that's the drastic improvement. Like, you already went from like way behind you to you've come forward a decent amount, right? So it happens. Like I said, you were adjusting, you were going through. So one of the first things I want to point out is why I think you are having to rotate so hard. Is we're going to talk about footwork first and foremost. So Brad, tell us a little bit about, you mentioned that there are just teapads that live rent free in your head. This teapad being one of them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Again, in my mind, that teapad is short. Like, I don't have a long enough space to run up or walk up. And I haven't measured, but I'm like 99% sure all the teapads at Timbrook are roughly the same size, right? So I think it's just maybe because I know that hole I have to like throw 360 foot power shots trying to make it there or whatever, and I know I need to like kind of yeet off the tee, so I'm like, oh no, I need more space. So I don't know if it's like a mental thing. And I've also, like, you can see in the front of the teapad, there's a lot of gravel and stuff there now. This teapad historically just has mud all the time in front of it, and I've like twisted my knee off of this one before, so like in my head I can't even step near the end of this teapad and swing. So yeah, I think there's a lot of that. There's only a couple teapad, but there are teapads like that, and I don't know if maybe everybody has something like that or for specific courses, but yeah, this one kind of gets in my head a little bit.
For sure. We George Ward is my local track that's like the most played course we have, and hole 1, hole 16, and hole 18 are all 3 tee pads that I'm just like, I tell people all the time, if you want to have a chance of beating me at George Ward, just be within a stroke or two of me going into hole 18, and you've got a really good chance, because I will not throw a good tee shot off of hole 18. Like, if I'm playing, I would almost rather start on hole 18 than start on hole 1, because that way my first throw of the round is bad versus, oh no, the last throw when it matters.
Yeah,
I've got to make a move. So I get that. And I also think you're not alone in how you view this tee pad, because you can just look how much dead grass is behind the tee box as well. So lots of people are starting off on this. But something that people don't talk about quite often is I like to talk about the tee pad and our tee pad real estate in percentages, right? So we got to say, if we're going to use 100% of the tee pad, not all steps are created equal in the throw. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that.
I agree.
So for when we talk about the throw, So many people do not realize how much, and I'm kind of standing up for our listeners and moving around the office now. This is the best part about why we do the lessons the way we do them, is that most people don't realize that the throw itself, the timing of the throw really occurs after the X step has happened. Until the X step happens, most of the time my body is pretty forward facing if I'm trying to throw against the wall in this direction. When the X step occurs, that is my body's somewhat forward facing. And then all of the reach back occurs as I'm doing the plant step. As I'm coming through doing that plant, I want to be reaching back, coiling, doing all of that. That is what creates automatic separation of the lower body and the upper body, the hips and the upper body, right? Because the whole reason that I do an X step is it is impossible to do the X step without getting my hips turning in the opposite direction of which I'm going. That creates this moment. And because I want coiling or I want separation between the two, what's going to happen is if when I go to do my X step, I also look backwards, my hips and my chest are backwards at the same time. I have created zero separation between the two because they're here. And now what's going to happen? I want to fire my hips forward and my chest forward. I also have no separation between the two, which means that my arm is carrying 100% of the workload because my hips firing through. Yes, I want to throw, but I'm not actively getting any help from the rest of my body. It's just my arm firing through. So because everything happens there, I would say that the plant step, probably the most important step, because that's where all of the timing occurs. So I want to make sure that I am allotting as much of my teapad percentage to the X step as I possibly can. And this is where a lot of people mess up, is because instead of thinking about it that way, we allot the same amount of effort or the same amount of percentages. We don't go 40% on the plant step. We go 25, 25, 25, 25. Like we just separate it. There's 4 steps. Everything gets an equal share. And I think that's where you're at right now, Brad. So if we look at your throw coming through and we look at the size of your steps, first step comes through, and I would say small, and it's tough, right? Because we have like shared percentage because we're starting off of the teapad here, but also we know that you're not going to finish at the front of the teapad either.
Right.
So I would say that based on how much space you leave at the front of the teapad to where you start on the back of the teapad, we're still using actually about a teapad's worth of throw.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That fair?
Yeah. Yep.
So first step comes through, and I would say that first step, we're just going to do this visually on the teapad. First step, does that feel accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So we come through, and then second step, significantly wider. So second step is, we'll use yellow. Second step, I would say here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're drawing on the teapad for teapad usage. So now you're taking this big step here, and then now we're hopping into the X step. And if I'm looking at the teapad, you're about 50-ish% of the way there. So I would say that the X step is here. And then that leaves us the last little bit for a big plant step. Now, your plant step still takes up the most space, which is good. But I would say that your plant step and your second step are pretty comparable in terms of how much space we're using. So where this becomes an issue for people is that if you use too much of your teapad in the first few steps, and we run into those first few steps, we run out of time, and there's the fear that we're going to launch off the front of the box. So we shorten that plant step, which is the most important step, causing us to then shorten everything else about the throw, because all of the timing is supposed to happen during that last step. Does that make sense? So I would love to see. People love to hate on him, but I think he actually does this better than most people. Nico LaCastro, I think, does this better than most anyone in disc golf. If you ever watch Nico throw, Nico does a little run in place action, and then he goes, like, his first couple steps are tiny. So I would love to see that first step is fine, but if we want to take small steps, let's take small steps, and let's keep our first 3 steps about the same. Because I think if you started on the tee box, you actually have plenty of room. It's just that second step you're going so big with that second step to sort of like jump start and get running into the throw and create that momentum, that I think that's what's throwing you off, is you're going little step, big step, medium step, now I got to stride and go for it.
Yeah.
So starting with a nice controlled little firing through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I really, and I think what that's going to do is that's also going to slow things down to where we're not sprinting through the shot to allow us to hit some different positions. So one of the big things that I saw is actually from the back view, and this is why I love having the profile from the back. So Brad, there's something we talked about, like stepping out when you throw.
Yeah.
How, as someone who doesn't coach, if so, have you heard the concept talked about before? If you have, what is your understanding of when people say you should step out when you throw? What do you think that means?
I guess maybe I don't really know. I think my subconscious understanding of it was like not closing myself in on the tee box. Like, don't walk into like a corner. So I think like maybe I'm walking straight forward and I don't know if I'm like trying to angle out of the tee box versus angling into a corner, or is that not correct?
Yeah, so it's definitely how you're angled on the tee box. You nailed that. So the reason we step out is because it closes the hips. You think about if we're in golf, right? We swing, and our feet are not sort of like diagonal from each other when I swing a golf club.
Right. Yeah, they're staggered.
They're straight in line because I can come through and I can swing and my hips can open all the way through.
Yep.
My understanding of the physics of all of this is why that's allowed is because I have this huge lever in the golf club that as I swing through, all of this extra whip is coming around because of the golf club. We do not have that luxury inside of disc golf, so we kind of have to close things a little bit more because there isn't this just massive golf club swinging all the way out from here. So we have to close things off a little bit. So from a throwing perspective, when people say step out, if I'm coming right at you in the throwing camera, when they say step out, what they mean is when I'm coming through with my throw, I don't want my feet to be in line with one another.
Okay.
Coming directly at you. Because the reason for this is that if I'm in this position and I try to fire my hips, I have like a certain amount of power that I can hit with them, right? Whereas if I come through and I step out and I have this angle a little bit, you can see that now in order to get to you with the shot, my hips have to fire. And you can see there's tension that's going to build up the front of the leg into the glute, into the side of the hip, right? Like I come through and I hit that way. In simply stepping out.
Okay.
Now, how people step out changes, but you're going to see most every single really, really solid thrower. I'm going to add my boy Vinny. Let's see. You can see for the people that are watching, and this is pulled up, we do a lot of lessons.
Yeah, that's true.
So we've got quite a bit of footage. Where's my guy? There it is. Bang. Okay. So when Vinny comes through, you'll see
yeah,
his hips. He's on that stagger. And being on that stagger lets that front foot be in that super backwards position where it's hitting, and then now my hips are stopping at a certain point because I've closed off my stance, and then now the only thing that gets to come through and hit is the arm swinging through on the other side.
Right. Okay.
So if I don't close it off, what ends up happening is my hips want to fire, but they're going to go until they find some form of resistance. So they're going to keep going, and where do they find that resistance? Here. So now if I hold on to the disc properly, I'm actually going to grip lock it super far to the right. But it also causes me to have to keep rotating till I find that resistance here. Which when I over rotate and I'm trying to do that, what's going to happen to my arm? The pocket's going to collapse. Which leads us to an issue that we started with of that pocket collapsing because you're having to rotate so hard into the shot. See how it all kind of compounds upon one another, right? Yeah. So most people who don't step out when they go to do this throw, they're going to plant open. So rather than being here, they're going to be either in line or worst case scenario, they're open like this. And they're trying to throw in this direction. And that is where I think you're going to see immediately, this is something about your throw that probably never noticed before.
Just square.
Feet are in a straight line here.
Yeah.
So because my feet are in a straight line, as you're trying to throw, your body's like, we got to rotate, we got to rotate, we got to rotate, we got to rotate. And so it's just trying to rotate into that, and it gets really hard in that straight line to sort of push a ton of pressure and pushing off with this back foot to drive into that wall, drive into the brace, drive into the load, all of that, because we're so flat or straight in the throw. So this is where I think that we talk about slowing down, hitting the walkthrough. One of the first things that I would love to see you do is it's a one-stepper. And on a one-stepper, you're just literally, what you're going to do is, if you have a baseball background at all, for people, you have a soccer background, basketball, and basketball, they call this the baseline drill, where you're on the baseline and you're just shuffling your feet side to side. Right? But when I do this, I'm not going full crab stance and moving my toes all the way pointed out. My toes are facing the same direction. I'm just simply sort of clicking my heels together when I go side to side. It's the same thing if I'm in baseball and you watch infielders try to field a ball. They're not sashaying their way over to the ball. Yeah. They're going heel click to heel click to heel click. We want that same effort in the disc golf throw. So instead of thinking about it, where if I'm trying to throw towards you as the camera, I go step, step, step out. Okay, cool. Now my hips are closed. I did the thing. You can imagine momentum-wise, that's like driving the car and then being time to throw. And then you just yoink all of your momentum out of the direction you're trying to go. We want to push, we want to stride in that direction. That's where we're going to lean on the beauty of other sports. So I'm going to aim the arch or the inside of my foot where I want that to go. So as I come through on my X step, rather than having my X step face forward towards the target, I'm going to simply adjust the heel, pivot it forward a little bit, And then from here, I can have my feet together and my toes are actually running in the same direction here as if I was doing baseline drill or fielding ground balls in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it look like? Oh, I have established this stagger that we're talking about. My hips are closed. So the one step is to get your foot, get the angle right, and you can even start by, okay, this is where I want to be. Awesome. So now I bring my foot back together, and you can just start with your feet together and throw up shots that way, right? And the thing about this is that you're going to have to teach yourself. You may not want to go this extreme right off the bat, because you can imagine that if I'm doing this, I look like I'm going to throw the disc like a million miles to the left.
Yeah.
So don't start that extreme. Take your foot, angle it a little more flat. You don't have to be out here. I think when you're all the way out here, this is where people are tempted to be. This is like a full power, I'm just trying to break a distance competition piece because I want to hold everything back as much as I can and just let the arm fire through. Not a very practical shot, but this is certainly something you'll see like Anthony Barella when he swings out of his shoes for distance competitions. That's where he's at, is he's here and he is just trying to do everything he can to hit through and let that hand just accelerate on the other side. So just simply pivot the angle of this left foot, or your X-step foot for our left-handed throwers, and open it up a little bit more. But what I want is, when I plant the toes, I want my toes facing in the same direction, because this allows me to push into the shot. Allows me to push into the throw, which feels really good and allows me to transfer that power and load into the brace rather than falling and stomping into the brace. I get to simply glide athletically and push into that shot, which is what I want to do. So I want to have those foot staggered, but that's the drill. Is you're here and you can start with your feet together, or you can start in an X step. And we're going to come through and we're going to throw the shot over and over again. So that's a big thing that I want us to focus on, because when you're doing your slower pace and we're not running into the shot, it becomes way easier if you've practiced this one step. Your body's going to say, oh, I know what it feels like to go from here to here. So all a run-up is doing is getting me into this drill. And I'm ready to fire. Any questions about that? Does that make sense? Because I think that right there is something where it's just like you're having to spin almost ballerina-like so hard because your feet are open that it's causing you to have to search for power elsewhere, which I think is also why we're having some upper body issues.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I always feel like I'm generating a lot of power until the disc comes out of my hand. I'm like, oh, that felt really like not equivalent to the amount of power or effort I put into the disc, I thought. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And like I've always got a lot of snap out of my disc, but not a lot of like distance, you know what I mean? And some of that was grip, right? But I'm like, I think I'm generating a lot of force into the disc. I'm just not like getting it out there somehow. So I don't know if that's relevant or not to this conversation, but that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty strong guy. I feel like I can throw other things really far. I just can't figure out why I can't throw this disc really far. And then obviously bad form. That's why we're here. And I think my question would be, so when I'm stepping out, if I'm starting at the back of the tee box, let's just say I need to, like, my aiming point is directly down the middle of the fairway. I want the disc to come out like in the middle of the tee box, right? That's where I'm aiming. Does that make sense? Is that a good way to describe that?
Yeah.
When I'm stepping out, do I line up at the back of the tee box in the middle and kind of slowly progress toward that corner to step out for my step out step? Or am I walking in a straight line until the step out? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So straight line, Mike Strauss, I want to give full credit to him. And from my understanding, Josh at Overthrow also loves this analogy, and we call it the train track analogy. So if we go back to here, I think that people view the throw. You played it well. Your check's in the mail. I think people view we view it as one train on the track, right? Like I'm starting in the back and I'm gonna slowly move that way. I just put a visual on the screen for people. That's sort of what you're thinking about, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Is like I have to move there because I have to step out and do the thing.
Yeah.
What we want to view it as is not one train track. We want to view it as, if I could stop grabbing the scrubber, we want to view it as 3 train tracks.
Okay.
So there are 3 train tracks that we're on. We have your right foot, your left foot, and then we have the disc.
Okay.
All of them are on straight lines.
Got it.
But they're all stepping separately, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
So when we start the throw, you can start in the back, right? You can start wherever. Like you can adjust this as you feel needed. But in a very straightforward sense, when I go to step, my left foot is on the rightmost track. I go to create momentum with my right foot, and you can see I'm already creating this stagger to a degree. So my toe is touching the right foot track.
Okay.
Left foot comes through, and notice when I do this, like it took years of doing this for it to be this subconscious, and also I do a lot of lessons,
right.
So like I end up in try to put it myself in proper form quite often. So when I do this exercise, watch, boom, left foot on that track. You can see in just how I'm standing right now, you can see all 3 tracks.
Yeah.
So that even happens when I carry through, boom, boom, boom. Okay. This disc never leaves the right track. My right foot never leaves the middle track, and my left foot stays on that track the whole time. So I can throw in a straight line and come through and hit that. And where I create the coil, right, is that this is on that track and it comes back and then it leaves. Because as I reach back, you can see the orange disc because of the fact that it's on its own track out here the entire time. I'm not trying to coil and put this disc behind me to where you can't see it anymore, because that's how you create the rounding, right? Yeah. Is now the disc needs to come through. It's stuck. Oh, no. One of the visuals that helped me actually increase my RPMs a lot is working with Clint, Blizz DG, and talking about, like, I had to tell myself visually that I was actively trying to reach beside me. But when I coiled, actively reaching beside me, it felt like I was reaching here, but actively reaching beside me just kept the disc on its own track the entire time. So I think that train track analogy gets lost a lot because, like I said, we're viewing this as one bullet train coming through, but it's not. It's 3 separate tracks that each piece has their own thing.
Yeah.
Because once again, I'm not trying to drive the train to when I go to step out. I don't want to derail all of my momentum away from where I'm trying to throw, because now I suddenly have to create power again to try to get it in line. And if all of my momentum got derailed going this way and I'm trying to save the shot, that's how I'm going to early release and get the disc out there, because I'm chasing all the momentum to that front left corner. It's all of these pieces moving together and then firing out. So that is a phenomenal question. And hopefully does that create some clarification?
Yeah, I think in my mind, I'm still not in this particular video. I almost did the opposite. Like I started in the left corner and went to the center, which I'm sure creates all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
Again, if I was aiming, I think if I was actually throwing at the hole, I probably would have done differently anyway. But I think what I'll just think about, and tell me if this is wrong, is I'm still effectively going in a straight line, and I'm keeping my disc on that, because I am intentionally trying to keep my disc in the same plane, whether it looks like that or not. Mentally, I am trying to. And then really that last step, again, the right foot being its own plane, I'm not trying to step over into the disc's plane, right? I'm trying to just step on that same track, but step out. But my left foot is still on the same line as it always has been. And that's really what I'm trying to like generate. That's going to allow my body to throw the direction that I want to throw, right? Is that line. Is that correct?
Yeah. Correct. So this is where, when I do lessons with people, I have people show up in a host of different settings where I log into the lesson, and I'm going to be sitting here in this room 99% of the time. This is what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Lights on, like nothing's going to change. There may be a dog roaming around between my feet. Who I see on the other side, I'll tell you the range. I have seen a guy standing there with his buddies on the disc golf course. That was a fun one. I have seen a guy shirtless in his bed. Like just chilling. Just like, oh, what's up, dude? Fancy running into you here. And you know what? It's a wide range. But what I would encourage most people, and Brad can't do this because he is recording a podcast right now,
right.
Be somewhere where I can get you in positions. I can have you, because Brad's asking questions right now, and the way that what will probably end up happening is when we hang up is I'm going to have Brad stand up and get into these positions.
Yeah.
So that's where, if you're taking a lesson from me, I would highly, highly encourage, like, have AirPods in, have something so that we can do this. I've had some people will be set up, like one of my patrons, Mike, has booked lessons with me, and Mike has his headphones in, and he has his tech disc and a net set up. So we just throw into the net, and we do things that way. So you really can adjust this in a bunch of different ways. But it's certainly something that, like, Brad's got the right mentality here. And if I could get his body into the right positions, he doesn't even have to throw the disc. Being able to just feel it, and me saying, hey, okay, let's put that foot out just a little bit more. Let's angle it just a little bit more, is going to create some light bulbs really fast. Because your body wants to be athletic.
Right.
We just have to put it in the right position. And that is what proper disc golf form is can I trick my body to being in the right positions at the right time?
Yeah. And it's funny too, because I've been trying to be more active on like the balls of my feet, not like the heels of my feet. And it has been difficult to generate power like that, but it does make sense if I'm not lining up correctly, because I'm breaking down the machine, right? I'm basically causing myself to be off balance because I'm not doing that step out. I'm just trying to swing, and realistically I'm having to turn so hard because I'm not stepping out that I'm like almost off balance, and I don't like that. So that makes sense too.
Yeah, and so for here, I would imagine, what disc are you throwing? What is this white disc?
That's a Grace.
Okay, so I would imagine that when you're throwing this shot, you're telling yourself there's plenty of room out to the right, so if I'm going to miss, I'd rather miss right.
Correct.
I'd rather swing right.
Correct.
Which is what you've done, proper tee box geometry of going left corner to right corner, because even if we keep our 3 train tracks moving in that direction, I'm moving for Hyzer space.
Yeah.
If I early release, I'm going to be throwing essentially straight off of the tee box. If I pull it, I'm at least pulling it into the right open space. This is a very safe way of approaching this hole that you could honestly, where people screw up the next hole on this course, because the next hole for this course, everybody, is like 130-foot Hyzer around, and it's barely even Hyzer. You can kind of throw a straight shot at it.
Sure.
But people go to throw the straight shot, and then it's a 130-foot hole, so they soft it, and where do they end up? They usually end up super left in the mess.
Yep.
But because we run right at it, you could throw the exact same soft shot. If you use the same tee box geometry that you're using on this hole, a soft shot would still be perfect on the next hole.
Right.
So I don't think that you're doing anything wrong T-box geometry wise, I can see exactly what your mind is thinking because of the T-box geometry. And if you move these 3 train tracks towards that right corner, it's going to do the same thing. We're still going to throw good shots if everything stays on the right tracks.
Yeah. And you may be getting to this. Can we go to the point of this video where the disc leaves my hand? Do I actually pull really hard right to that?
Yeah. So this is where I love analogies. If you guys don't know me, if you don't spend time with me, anyone who spends time with me feels those analogies in just my everyday chatter. You can take me out of the pulpit, but you can't take the youth pastor out of me. So the one analogy that came to mind is you talked about, I feel like I'm generating a lot of power, but I'm just not getting the disc to go very far. Mm-hmm. Brad, were you ever into Beyblades, or have the kids ever been into Beyblades?
I was, and the boys went through a huge Beyblade phase, so yes.
Okay, so everyone who's ever done Beyblades, probably one of the most frustrating feelings of Beyblades is where you get lined up and you're like, 1, 2, let it rip, and you go to rip,
and they fall
and
off.
you pull that ripcord and it falls off of the thing, and you're like, well, that stinks. Like, that is the worst. You gave it all the power, but the release just didn't, like, it couldn't hold on to actually do the power.
Yeah.
Welcome to 90% of amateurs who cannot feel like they generate power. Because we are, I mean, my man, you look at this face, that is a guy jamming the ripcord.
Yeah.
He is jamming the ripcord. Problem is the disc is going to pop back here. Like, it's popping here instead of here, where your hand, you can see that your hand isn't even on the front of the disc anymore. It's kind of already off to the side because it's already slipping out for you. So I'm just going to have fumes coming forward.
And that makes sense too. I'm looking at my feet as well. And of course my hand's already off the disc. Like I'm doing the opposite of stepping out. I'm like stepping off. Like I'm almost the other way.
Correct. You're almost stepping. Yes, you are very much, and I didn't show all 4 of them, but there are throws from the back profile that you are indeed, you're not even in line. You're open.
Yikes. Well, that makes sense too, because can we go like back a little bit in this video? Again, sorry, I'm just trying to observe also. Now I'm looking at this a little differently. I mean, maybe like a little, I don't know how much, forward, like before.
So you go here, and then you can see here that you're in your mind, you want to be pushing off of this foot.
Yeah.
But that foot is flat.
Yeah.
Like, you can see where the heel hits, and the weight literally rocks off of your toes.
Yeah, because you can see coming into that step, I was on the ball of my foot.
Correct. You're doing the right thing.
There.
But instead of here, instead of doing the drill because even right here, you could still save this shot from right here.
Yeah.
Instead of pushing here and keeping your toes in line and that right foot, also just matching the angle, that's where we want the foot to be. That's the train track.
Right, and I'm forcing my heel back by stepping the other way.
And I will say, this is extreme. This is like where this foot is angled right now would have you very extremely angled out.
Yeah.
So I don't even need this back foot to be, let's say, here. I would say that it could be
there. Yeah.
Like here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That green, and then where you're at right now is like the red. So that's 10, 15 degrees. Doesn't sound that bad until you extrapolate it out, and then you're like, ooh, 10 to 15 degrees. Anyone who's ever done construction, 10 to 15 degrees is catastrophic.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's, and so like you said, so from here, what are you going to do? You can literally see your foot running away from where we're trying to go.
I lost 50% of power right there.
Yeah. So you're now, what's happening is your toe is touching and you're reaching. Because I would even say this is probably a little wider than we need to go.
Right. I feel that.
So, but the reason it's wider is because you're searching for
balance,
something
I'm searching for
off in the distance. Yeah, exactly. You've come through and you're like, let it rip. Let it rip. It's got to be something. Yeah. And so then you hit here, and then now what's going to happen is that toe touches, and you're like, contact.
Rip. Yeah.
And that's where this hand is going to pop up above the elbow, and we're going to come through, and we can just watch as this thing goes down.
Yeah.
We fall into the shot, and then boom, all my weight's on the front foot now. Weight's off the back, and then I'm just trying to continue. I felt this contact, so I let it rip, and I'm spinning forward, and I'm just hoping that I can hold on long enough to create a solid throw.
Maybe a good analogy for what I'm, and maybe this is why. Hey, imagine if I fix this, Robbie. I probably could throw pretty far. It's like if you try to lift something heavy, like a heavy box. I'm trying to do it flat-footed versus getting on the balls of my feet and activating all like my leg, glute, back muscles. But by getting on the balls of my feet. But I am getting on the balls of my feet, just I'm stepping that last power step, I'm stepping open way too wide and I'm off balance, so I'm just catching, like I'm basically throwing off my big toe.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, you can see in my shoe.
Yeah. Yeah, like that part is, I mean, you can see that you're rotating into it, like there's tension on, like tension coming over top of the shoe, which is solid.
But it's in the wrong, like you said,
it's in the wrong spot.
Yeah, I've been focused so much on my upper body that like this has never even been in my mind.
Yeah, and so the upper body plays a factor in it, right? Like because the upper body wants to hold on, and so that was your worst.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we go to your better throws, you can see that once again we still weight transfer not necessarily happening, and then where do we lose it here? This is better because boom, that's a great position. Like this is good. The problem is that I want your head to stop right here.
Yeah, but it can't because
because the only way you're generating power
is
by rotating everything out and through.
Right, and that makes. I've always been like, how do I keep my head? I mean, I'm not a tiny guy. I've got big shoulders and a thick neck, so like it's a little hard to keep all that man right there, looking the other direction. But it makes sense if I'm stepping out, like my body's still facing that way, so it'll be way easier to do that. And I'm glad you pointed that out because I always feel like my arm's in the right position. Like if you scrub that one back, like not
like here,
not there, like there. Like I can feel like I'm doing that, right? But but I'm really number one doing it at the wrong angle, right? Because I should be stepping out, and then two, if my head's back, I can actually utilize that position versus like turning around and then my head's the other way and I'm throwing.
Because watch where your head is when the disc actually comes out.
Yeah.
Like now it's already looking down the fairway for the shot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get that hit, like your eyes are barely losing track of the disc in its flight the entire time.
I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at my gaze there. It was just cracking me up. Like, right there. Look back a little bit. Yeah, just look at like a nice calm fishing boat captain. But also, I think so I'm like thinking some things in my head. If they're not productive, just tell me. But where you were talking about where my hand is, like that disc is already out of my hand. But I still have my fingers on it. right?
Yep.
And so that's, I mean, I'm probably losing a bunch of spin that way, right? Because it's like getting charged up, if you will, to use a weird analogy. And then basically I'm like kind of letting it go, but like my finger's still slinging it the other direction. Like my thumb is not active. It's just my finger that's flipping it the other way.
So I just love using golf for their analogies, right? Yeah. Or like for understanding like the physics of the throw and how we're hitting it. So when I come through and I hit a golf ball, my hands have come through where people struggle to hit golf balls well is that they're thinking about the head of the club coming, and we're like trying to bring the club. We're trying to think about that point contacting the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas the best golfers in the world will say you send your hands and then watch what happens. When you swing a baseball bat, you send your hands and you let everything else come around. So our hands, we can't think about sending our hands. We have to think about our elbow being our hands.
Makes sense.
So when we send the hand through, the club is our forearm, the bat is our forearm, and the contact point comes around to the other side. So I send my elbow through, and then this opens up all the way. So the analogy that I use more than I mean, I feel like this comes up in almost every single driving lesson that I have is the doghouse analogy. Tom and Jerry, classic cartoon. They're chasing each other around the house. They almost always end up running outside, and there's a dog chained to a doghouse outside. Tom and Jerry take off. What does the dog do? It chases after them, but it's chained to the doghouse. So when that chain hits the end, what happens to the dog's body?
Yeah, rips backwards.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Rips up. But what comedically happens inside the film or inside the show every time? The doghouse gets ripped out of the ground. Now the dog is free to go wherever it wants. So our head is the cement for the doghouse. When our head comes looking around, now when I try to stop and let this open up because this is it reaching the chain, hand whips through and around. When I stop myself at 10 o'clock, boom, this hits. And where is it hitting? It's hitting right there. Just like I was throwing a dart, that arc of throwing a dart.
Yeah.
That arc of throwing the dart out, boom, I'm throwing in the correct direction. And by stopping my head, this hits, and then now my body's like, this hurts, this is uncomfortable, so what do? I follow through with the head around.
Yeah.
If I take my head and I rotate it forward and I still haven't released the disc, now if I actually release the disc at the right pressure point, it's going right.
Yeah.
Like I'm grip locking it right. But I know subconsciously that's not good, so what am I going to do?
Just let it go early.
I'm going to let it go early, and I'm going to sacrifice everything, all of the power, all of that, to come through and short it, which is what's happening. When we get so focused on rotating in and through the shot, we don't ever get to feel the chain snap on the doghouse. And because we are generating power by rotating and doing all of this, it just, once you start rotating, it gets really hard. So I'll give you the analogy that I give lots of students, which is my bag analogy. So you're here. If we're all standing here, I've played Tim Brook many times. I can tell you that everyone's bags are off camera, like right here where the green circle is. Everyone sets it there. If the only reason that we don't do that is because of mud. So often one of the driest spots is like right here.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do is I want you to stop setting your bag in the green or that red spot, and I want you to set it here. Like I want you to set it off the front left corner of the box.
Yeah.
So this is where we can cheat in disc golf without actually cheating according to the rules. If I were to take a bag and I put it down, like if we're trying to throw this direction and I put a bag right in the middle of the fairway and I use it as an aiming point, that is illegal, against the rules, stroke penalty. Actually happened in FPO several years ago. She had to make a Mando, and she walked up to check the Mando, and she set her bag down because she didn't want to walk back with it, and they stroked her. Yikes. Because I think it was Sarah Hokum actually who got hit with it. But because she threw over her bag, and they were like, well, you're using that as an aiming point to know when you need to break. Yeah. And she was like, I could see why you think that. Definitely not what I was doing. Yeah. Right. So, okay. So the reason that I have you set your bag here is because it's going to be an aiming point. And this is something that I think lots of people could do. So what do we want to do? When our hips are open, stopping the head here, like you said, is tough because it's like I've just really started rotating. This feels empty and loose, and there is no like tension point coming, right? Yeah. So my head wants to keep drifting forward. That's the issue. Whereas if I step out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up on the tracks, and I'm going to lock eyes on my bag.
Okay.
I see it in the front left corner. Bang. I take my first step. I take my second step. I take my third step, and you notice my eyes have not left the bag.
Yeah.
Now, the only time my eyes leave the bag is when I go to coil during the plant step. I've done my hips are closed. I'm in this. I'll scoot backwards a little bit. My hips are closed. I'm reaching out, and I'm back here looking for the disc. Okay? Yep. My eyes have left the bag. As I go to rotate forward, I'm going to rotate until, boom, my eyes catch the bag again. Stop. Mm-hmm. And you can see my head stays back here, helps you create that tension point, and then my head can come up and around.
Okay.
That is a huge drill that I think most people could do, and I chuckle because it's becoming a staple of Robbie C students, is that they don't set their bag behind the tee box. Their whole card sets their bag back there, and then they're like, Mike, why are you setting your bag up there?
Yeah.
Coach told me to.
Yeah. Okay.
And it gives you that aiming point. And if you can lock your eyes on that, lock your eyes on that, but you're not throwing to your bag. You're still throwing down the fairway. Mm. It actually allows you to feel like you can throw full power shots without fearing the grip lock.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that my head is going to keep the doghouse chained where it needs to go.
Yeah.
If you keep your head there and you try to just soft throw it because you're afraid, you will throw early releases every single time.
Yeah.
So you have to trust the process of lock eyes on the bag and come through and hit the shot. So, Brad, we're at an hour.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to do. Yeah. I think that's all we're going to do there today. But how does it feel? As bad as you thought it was going to be? Better than you thought it was going to be? What's the vibe?
No, because I feel like I was worried about, I don't know what else to do to get more power in my upper body. I feel like I'm just destroying this disc. And the good news is it's really my footwork and how I'm attacking the shot and the follow through of the shot, or the pre follow through, the pre throw. And I was taking notes actually here on the side. So here's my big takeaways. I have 4 of them. Number 1, my first 3 steps should be close to equal size, and then a larger plant step to generate power. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say, because you already have a large plant step, I wouldn't think about them as in one's larger than the other. Think about it in tee box percentage. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to use 100% of the tee box, probably 30 to 40% of it needs to be the plant step.
Okay.
Which lets me take the other 3 shots.
Yeah.
And those need to be, I would say 40% needs to be the plant step.
Yeah.
So I have 60% to use on 3 shots. Yeah. Or 3 steps. Okay. And those are still not all created equal either.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wrote a 30% plant just as a note on that. But in my mind, that's kind of what I meant in my head was,
Yeah. Because I don't want people thinking, oh, just take a big plant step, because like we talked about, that could be that could be derailing you as well.
Yeah. What I think about too is I'm throwing more just stand still, 100-foot up shots with putters, and I naturally want to do that actual I feel like I'm having success because I have good form doing that. I have that right foot out staggered a little bit more, and I'm coming through my shot. So I think that's a good like reminder of myself, like, hey, it does work. You just have to trust it like you trusted that shot. Coming to my second note, which is a step out versus like staying in a straight line. I'm thinking about the 3 train tracks. So instead of keeping everything in a complete straight line the whole time, that step out is going to be really important for the plant step for me. So that's obviously a huge takeaway because I'm currently just not doing that.
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes doing the opposite.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're actually stepping more open than even in a straight line.
Yeah. And I put like 2, so those are the 2 big ones. And then I have like 2 like practical things, which is one, the ankle click, like stagger. I said stagger up shot, the one stepper where you're stepping out and kind of throwing up shots that way. So I have that as like a practical thing to do. And then a practical thing to do is the bag exercise you just talked about. Putting my bag at the front of the teapad, which that will help me immensely, giving myself a visual cue on where I need to be looking. And I think that will, again, to your point, keep my body in line, allow me to step out, allow me to still reach back and kind of like trust the process a little bit. Because again, in archery, right, I'm used to like having an aiming point. I'm used to like trusting that, like, oh, your aiming pin is like 30 feet above this target, and I'm trusting that it's going to the bullseye because I know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So I can relate in that respect. So I can give myself a visual cue to trust. And, so do you think these are better? So should I go back to like, hole 13 here and try these new techniques? Or do you think like a field, just open field is probably a good spot at first? Throw my old, like what I would normally throw, and then try to implement these and kind of compare and contrast? Or do you think like practical application of just like go to this same hole and try the same thing?
Yeah, I would go to a field. I would go to a field for 2 reasons. One, because hole 13 specifically, there's just danger on both sides of the hole.
Yeah.
Like you've got water on the left and then you have cars on your right. So like it's just not a very conducive hole to if you're throwing from a teapad, it's not a very conducive hole to actually practicing. But I think you'd be better off going to the fields, like the soccer fields on the other side of the library. But yeah, I think the bag drill is one that like, I think the bag drill you could, before you and Jason filmed today, throw a couple with the bag drill and just feel that. But the bag drill could immediately be applied to you shooting Course Conquest today.
Okay. Yeah, that's the other thing I'm going through my head. I'm like, I'm kind of worried. I'm like, I don't want to change anything today, but I guess what do I got to lose other than the video?
Yeah, and that's where, like I said, make sure that you're committed when you're doing the bag drill. The first couple throws of the bag drill, you almost assuredly will be early releasing them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that.
And what it is you're still trying to throw it the same way with a different aim point. So make sure that the reason that we're doing the bag drill is because it allows me to confidently pull through and throw.
Got it.
And that's what we have to be doing.
Okay. So just 4 hands only today at Peaksview. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, they're like 150-foot holes, so you shouldn't need much more.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just going to jump putt everything today. I probably will shoot the same score. All right, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate that. Hopefully that was helpful, everybody. Again,
yeah.
I mean,
and this is what we offer. This is welcome to lessons. We don't do an hour. We do 30-minute blocks. Just because I gave Brad, Brad's not doing another one of these for a considerable amount of time. So I like 30-minute blocks because we can sort of break it down into sections and say, let's focus on this, or this. But yeah, so we do 30 minutes on putting, forehands, mental. The student, I've got a lesson in about 10 minutes, actually, and we're doing a little bit of form, but we're also doing mental. So
sweet. Okay. Well, yeah, guys, I hope guys and gals, I hope everybody liked that. Again, if you stuck around, if you're only doing audio and you stuck around this long, hey, you're a real one. Thank you for that. Make sure you check it out on YouTube again. There's going to be like, you'll actually get to see me throwing on there, which is for nothing other than seeing what Robbie is talking about on angles and things like that. But yeah, appreciate you all. Let us know in the comments, did you enjoy that? Was that helpful to everybody, or was it a waste of your time? If it is, we won't do one again. But if it was really helpful, then maybe we'll do something similar, or maybe we'll do like a 2-month check-in, and we'll do like a short version of it or something. So
But Brad, for our audio only listeners, for the brave ones that stuck through, let them know what's new in the warehouse, dude.
All right. Well, ironically, I'm showing a video. This week we've got these confetti Milkman vultures, Ezra Robinson custom stamped here. It says the Milkman has a milkman, him in a milk truck on there. 10 years, 10 milk. You know the deal. So, Robbie, that's actually yours that I just showed. This is what I'm sending you.
Yeah, come on.
So those are dropping. We have some Foundation custom stamp buzzsaws dropping as well. And I don't know if I said it on the last couple episodes, but we're putting used discs online now per request of everybody. So we've amped up our used selection online. Again, we've still got a bunch of good stuff in the store, but we put some good stuff online as well. We have all of the MVP Halloween stuff, the Tale of Terror or whatever the theme is, but Proton Trails. We have Cosmic Neutron Watts, Eclipse, a Particle Eclipse Hex, Particle Eclipse Insanity, Particle Eclipse Fireball as well. So there'll be a handful of those dropping. A lot of them are pre-sale items, but a handful of those will be dropping tomorrow as well. We have, let's see, the Paul Macbeth Victory Buzz SS, Confetti Buzz SS dropped this week, along with Ricky Jawbreaker Focus. I will say a little harder than like normal Jawbreaker, but really they feel really great. So those are coming out. I'm looking here. Sorry, guys. We had a couple trilogy items drop this week, as we normally do, but we did restock all the easy to throw stuff from Latitude. So we have like sapphires, diamonds, pearls, jades. We also have rivers, and we restocked a lot of that stuff. Again, as I continue to get all of our stock back up and prepping for busy Q4, Black Friday, and Christmas and such, we're getting all this stuff. I also placed maybe the largest Discraft order of all time this week also, Robbie. Twice as many discs as I normally order from them and on a given order. So it's they won't be UPS, they'll be a semi-truck showing up, just to let you know, for that order.
I love it.
And don't forget, Robbie C. Birdie Bloom Wizards are in stock right now. Also, subscription box this month. We'll be putting some more up this weekend. We have a few availability. We have the Groovy Robbie, Groovy Connor, Groove Top Wizards, along with some other really fun discs as well. It's a groovy theme. And so that's what we got going on in the warehouse this week, Robbie. And Robbie, if people get their discs and they love them, what are they going to do?
Keep them in the bag. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.